What's going on, Falcon fan? This is Kondo come back at you with another video. So today we're gonna talk about the 53-man roster projections. Falcons Fan Talk Tuesday. And guys, this right here, when you think about it, think about 53-man roster projection. If you look and see who the Atlanta Falcons actually sat down on Friday or Saturday for the preseason game against the Baltimore Ravens, you kind of got an idea who the Atlanta Falcons, potentially going to keep on this 53-man roster. Unlike the last previous seasons, um, the Atlanta Falcons only had a couple spots open. They let the rookies play. We had some injuries. We brought in two veteran guys. So looking at this roster, it's kind of solidified. Um, more than normal years. If you look at a couple of years ago, we had a lot of young guys come in, a lot of your guys on 1-year deals. This roster is, pretty solid the way it's built already. A lot of guys that was here last year is going to make the team. Some of the new guys are going to make the team. So when you look at the 53-man roster projections, it was a hard decision made because there's some guys that, maybe felt deserve to be on the 53-man roster. Some of those guys pretty sure will be coming back on the 63-man practice squad. But if you're looking at just 53-man roster projections, you had to narrow it down to, you know, some guys was going to miss out because you're going to have 53 people. Usually what teams try to do, they try to even out from the offensive side and defensive side. Usually they try to go 25 and 25. If you look at my 53-man roster projections, and it's kind of lined up with a lot of other people as well. If you look around the league, a lot of people have been providing their 53-man roster projections. We kind of had all the same ideas, but I'm going to give you my opinion why the Falcons decided to go in the direction they did with some of the people um, that I picked. And in a couple places, I think they could go either way at certain positions. They could actually keep one guy and let another guy go. So you just have to figure out what the Atlanta Falcons' decision is in, either keeping one of these guys. But either way, guys, when you're looking at this roster, I think it's pretty solid. I think it's does have potential to be one of the best rosters, on paper that Atlanta Falcons have ever had. Looking at veteran quarterback, looking at all the skilled players that's drafted in the top 10, looking at defense, bringing in Matthew Judon, bringing in Justin Simmons. You gotta like what you see from this team. Adding adding that to Jesse Bates the third, AJ Terrell, Grady Jarrett, David Amayada, Caden Ellis. The two other linebackers, Troy Anderson and Nate Lemon. You like what you see from this roster. So you have to like that. So guys, with that being said, if you have not already, go ahead and please subscribe to the channel. Please hit the notification bell so you know I drop another video. Please hit the like button so I know you guys are here to talk about. Then please share my video throughout the YouTube universe so more people can come in here and talk about these Atlanta Falcons. As you guys can see, I'm out of town. That's why I did not drop a video yesterday. But I got to get this 53-man roster in because I promised you guys that I was going to give it. Atlanta Falcons got one more preseason games. And like I said, pretty much I think they already kind of solidified the roster. A couple more guys. If you look at some of the guys that played on Saturday that gets make the decision harder, you look at what the cornerback Brooks did. He made a name for him, 13 tackles. Both linebackers, Eifert and Mutant, both of those guys made a good job. I think Chris Blair maybe solidify himself to be the sixth wide receiver on this roster. So just looking at some of these guys, you have to like what you've seen from some of the guys that play. Ruko Roro, Brandon Dorless, made a name for themselves. Continue like what you see from Bertrand as well. So these guys, rookies, Casey Washington, even though he does not seem like he have a lot of chemistry with Kirk Cousins, but we know he do have chemistry with Michael Penix Jr. So just looking at some of the guys that actually played really well in the preseason games, probably made a name for themselves. That's kind of made the coaching staff have to sit back and think. I mean, what Natron Brooks was able to do in the preseason game was amazing. like I said, 13 tackles, probably one of the smallest guys on the field, but he really left it all out on the field on Saturday against the Ravens. Like I said, you have to like what Bertrand has been doing since he's been playing these games. Um, I can't say Taylor Heineke had a bounce back game. He played better, a whole lot better than he played in the last preseason game. So you have to like what you see from the preseason game. Not going to talk a whole lot about it. I know a lot of people's upset because they didn't play their starters, but at this point, um, I think this coaching staff, Raheem Morris, values practices. The joint practice they had with the Miami Dolphins and the practice that they get with the team, more, controlled practices. I think he liked that more than putting his guys out there in preseason with, no game plan at all. Yes, you get live reps, but it's not really, game plan. He's going out there man on man, putting your guys that gonna make the roster out there with guys that, you know, that's probably not going to even make the team. So you don't really get a true look. Yes, you get snaps, you get reps, but I can tell you this: just going to two practices, for the Atlanta Falcons, um, Michael Penix Jr. and Kirk Cousins took most of the snaps in Atlanta Falcon training camp. So he got a lot of snaps. I know it's not the preseason snaps that everybody want to see, but he had a lot of snaps, and like it just to minimize the injury concerns because they can control the quarterback not getting hit. They can control the team, not taking injuries. And then I think after the first game, we had three injuries. Well, two in the game, of course. Rondale Moore going down in the joint practice. I think it spooked the Raheem Morris. So I think he was just being cautious, better safe than sorry, and he decided not to play any of his starters going forward, any of his guys that potentially that he knew he was going to have to use, in this 2024 season. So that's with that. So we're not going to harp on too much on the preseason. We did see some highlights from some guys, but let's get into this 53-man roster, and we'll definitely talk about the offensive side of the ball first. So, guys, project the offense for the Atlanta Falcons. I got 24 guys making the offensive side of the side of the ball. Of course, you got three quarterbacks, and that's Kirk Cousins, Michael Penix Jr., Taylor Heineke. Um, Now if you're going to go with the new rule, I don't know if you guys recall the new rule. You actually can trace out an extra guy, and Taylor Heineke could be the emergency guy. So Michael Penix and Kirk Cousins, they can actually play Taylor Heineke if they so desire to do that. So that's one of the things they can do. Reason why they will have three quarterbacks on instead of having him on the practice squad. They have to make him part of the 53-man roster. So three quarterbacks. You have Taylor Heineke, you have Michael Penix Jr., and you have Kirk Cousins, of course. Four running backs. This right here, we start to have to think. Of course, we have Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier, Avery Williams because of his kickoff prowess, punt return prowess that going to be able to use him on the special teams. I think he's going to make the roster. Then you have to determine whether you're going to keep your guy you just drafted and Jason McCullough, or you're going to keep Carlos Washington. I think it's either or one of those guys. So we'll just have to see. I guess if I have to pick, I'll go with the guy who was here last year, and that's Carlos Washington to make the roster over Jace. Even though I did like what Jace did, I think he had a really good game on Saturday as well. And guess what? He had another opportunity. So I think that fourth running back spot definitely is going to go down to that last preseason game between those two running backs. So that's what I think. Darkmar said, how much will we miss Rondale Moore? Well, we'll miss him in two categories. Of course, his speed, right? And we tried to rectify that, bringing in Jakeem Grant, but he got injured as well. So we're going to definitely miss Rondale Moore's speed, and actually in the return game as well. But like I said, I like Ray McCloud, his ability to return kicks, and Avery Williams. If you guys recall, Avery Williams before he went down last year. He led the lead in punt returning shortage. So we can be able to utilize him still. That's why I think Avery Williams is safe and make the team, but just Rondale Moore's speed and his ability to return kicks is what they were going to utilize him for. So that element in the game is definitely lost. They tried to replace it with Jakeem Grant. Um, so that's definitely going to miss that. Um, we got 6 receivers, guys, and I think you guys know who those 6 is going to be. Of course, the 5 was definitely got Drake London. You got Darnell Mooney. Of course, you got Cardell Hodge. You got Raymond McLeod. Um, Casey Washington, and lastly, I want to give to Chris Blair. I think he played well during this preseason, last 2 preseason games right now, and I don't know if anybody's even nipping at his heels. So those would be my 6 receivers that I think the Atlanta Falcons are going to bring in. Anybody think somebody else deserve to be there? Now Atlanta Falcons could make another move. Dartmouth just asked about Rondale Moore, so the Atlanta Falcons could make another move if they're not comfortable with Chris Blair. They might make another move because we know they're not afraid to make moves, right? 3 tight ends, of course, Kyle Pitts. We're going to keep um, Charlie Warner, of course, and then it comes down to John Fitzpatrick and Ross Dwelly. One of those guys, what's going on, 3 Dirty? One of those guys is probably not going to make the roster. Um, Ross Dwelly and John Fitzpatrick. We know they brought in Ross Dwelly, who's real familiar with the scheme. Came from San Francisco with Charlie Warner. Pretty good, pass catcher in his own right. John Fitzpatrick, a guy they drafted last year, had troubles with dropping the ball early in training camp, but it seemed like he has rectified that. Um, so we'll see between those 2 guys. They're only going to keep 3 tight ends, I think. But between John Fitzpatrick and Ross Dwelly, if you had to have me pick, I'm going to pick the guy they drafted, even though they brought in Ross Dwelly as a free agent. So it's a toss-up there. But once again, both of those guys got opportunity to prove themselves this last preseason game. They both will play. So 3 tight ends there. We're going to keep 8 offensive linemen. Jake Matthews, Matthew Bergeron, Drew Dahlman, Christian Lindstrom, Kyle Hinton, of course, Storm Norman. And we have to think about, do we want to keep Javon Gwynn or not? I think Javon Gwynn probably would be one of the guys that I would probably consider for the 8 offensive lineman spot. But you just never know what these guys are thinking here. It could go with some more veteran guys. Ryan Newsel. So I think either Kyle Hinton, Javon Gwynn, or Ryan Newsel, one of those guys. But we know they're going to keep our 5 starters, like I said, and then they're going to keep 3 more guys. Storm Norton, I think, can play swing tackles either way. Kyle Hinton, and then Ryan Newsel is our backup center. So Javon Gwynn might be the guy on the outside looking in. Not 100% sure. We just have to see there, but we're going to keep 8 offensive linemen. And when you're looking at guys, that's 24 offensive players. So again, that's 3 quarterbacks, 4 running backs, 6 receivers, 3 tight end, and 8 offensive linemen. Let's look at some of these questions here. What's up? One more game into week 1. That's right. That's why we going down to this 53-man roster position. How likely will the Falcons sign Julio Jones? I think it's unlikely. Well, let me say it like this. First of all, we don't know how much shape Julio Jones in, what kind of shape he's in. He does have a relationship with Raheem Morris, though. So I'm not going to say never, but I don't know what role he would play. His skill set coming in. So that's a great question. He has not retired yet, but we don't know, what kind of shape he's in. I don't know if they would ever want to go back down that road. We just don't know with Julio Jones. But that's a great question. But guys, 24 offensive players. come in. Um, like I said, I don't think there was a lot of big surprises there. If you go into like the fourth running back, the third tight end, um, the sixth receiver, and then that eighth offensive lineman. Those are the questions, but all those guys was on the back end of the roster anyway. So I think it's a toss up who you decide to bring um, in those spots, and hoping none of our starters go down, especially on offensive line. You have to have somebody you want to be comfortable with bringing in. So um, there you have it, 24 offensive players to bring in. Next, guys, let's go to the defensive side, which is, in my opinion, kind of exciting this year because this is tricky when you think about the defensive line. Um, and I start there, the defensive line, because there's so many um, guys on the defensive line, whereas the depth is really large, and somebody is not going to be able to stay with this team. Think about the defensive line, so um, the Atlanta Falcons actually keep 8 defensive linemen, right? So we starting off right off the bat, and we starting out. They're going to keep Grady Jarrett, David Amayada, Taquan Graham, Zach Harrison, Eddie Goldman, Rukaro, Brendan Dorless, and Kentavious Street. If you look at the names I called out from a veteran standpoint, those are the guys that did not dress out, right? Um, this past preseason game. Only guys that I called that did play was our two rookies, Rukaro, Brendan Dorless. Now Zion Lowe, I did not call his name out. I think he will be back with the practice squad. Unless he get poached by another team. Um, guys like Lakel London, Damone Harris, those guys. It's just not enough spots. But I like that rotation. Got a mixture of veteran guys, got our rookie guys mixed in there. But 8 defensive linemen is a lot. And if you heard what Raheem Morris said, they were going to probably be more heavy on the defensive front this year than they had been in past years. So yes, if you look at the defensive linemen, 8 defensive linemen. Once again, Kentavious Street, Grady Jarrett, David Yada, Taquan Graham, Zach Harrison, Eddie Goldman, Rook Royal, and Brendan Dorless. There you go, guys. A lot of guys. A lot of guys. 8 guys. All right, you're gonna go 4 outside linebackers. You're gonna go James Smith Williams, of course, Matthew Judon, Umber Ebikadi, and Lorenzo Carter. I mean, guys like Bradley and Nye and D'Angelo Malone probably will be back on the practice squad unless they get poached by another team. But those are 4 guys. We're going outside linebackers. Let's get here what you guys got. I know the playbook will have trick plays 100%. Be lookout for those. Look out for those trick plays. I do agree with you on that. The defense will be faster. Yes. It's going to be a whole lot smarter too. A whole lot smarter. We're looking at the defensive side of the ball. Inside linebackers, guys. I think this is real easy. Of course, our 3 veteran linebackers, Caden Ellis, Troy Anderson, Nate Lemon, and JT Bertrand. There's going to be the 4 guys. You do like what you're seeing from Mooten and Eifert, in the preseason game, but those guys will be probably back on the practice squad. I like their energy. Just not enough spots for all those guys. But those 4 linebackers that I mentioned definitely is going to be on the squad. We're going to have 6 cornerbacks: AJ Terrell, D. Alford, Mike Hughes, Clark Phillips III, Kevin King, Antonio Hamilton Sr. Those are going to be our 6 cornerbacks. Yeah, I like what I saw from Anthony Johnson. Definitely like what I saw from Nathan Brooks. But you look at the 6 cornerbacks, I think those are the guys that's definitely going to be here. Once again, all those guys I just called, none of those guys played in the preseason game on Saturday. So it kind of gave, like I said, once again, kind of the idea that, your spot is going to be safe when you're looking at those 6 cornerbacks. And then 4 safeties, guys. Of course, Jesse Bates the third, Justin Simmons, Richie Grant, and DeMarco Hellams. He was not put on the IR. So since he's not put on her 100%, it's going to be part of this big 3-man roster because they expect him to be back sometime this season. So those are the 4 safeties. So guys, that's 26 defensive players, 24 offensive players, 26 defensive players. Um, and honestly, guys, this was at the end of the day, it started to be a simple 53-man roster to put together. Because the Atlanta Falcons helped them out basically by not playing most of these guys, during the last preseason game, kind of give you an idea of what they thought they seen enough from these guys. Guys' position probably safe, but so once again, 8 defensive linemen, 4 outside linebackers, 4 inside linebackers, 6 cornerbacks, and 4 safeties. Guys that definitely, missed out. Guys like Bradley and D'Angelo Malone. I love what Anthony Johnson was able to do. Like I said, from the defensive line standpoint, Kel London, Damon Harris, those guys played well as well. Zion Lowe, rookie, we just drafted, just not enough spots. But we do expect some of those guys definitely back on the 16-man roster, practice squad, unless those guys, like I said, get poached by other teams. That's the whole ideal of preseasons and things like that. You put your game on film, and where teams lack depth in some of those positions, they will poach your team, right? And to be honest with you guys, don't expect some of these guys on the back end of the roster that I call, because Atlanta Falcons going to be looking at other teams as well and poaching guys from their cut rosters as well. So you have to look at that. So when they start to cut guys from across the league, just like they're going to be looking at Atlanta Falcon cut roster, the Atlanta Falcons going to be looking at their rosters as well. And if there's anybody that they can bring in to make our 53-man roster better, they will. So guys make the team, and then they can get cut just like that. So don't be surprised if that happens. But I do like the 53-man roster that I put together from an offensive defensive standpoint. But that's only 50 guys. So, of course, we got to go to our 3 specialists, which is no surprise there. Wade Cool, Bradley Pinion, and Leon McCollum, right? Long snapper. So, I know a lot of people was a little nervous with looking at Young Wei Koo missing all those kicks. I think he's going to rectify that. It is a concern though. He's definitely going to get opportunity to kick again on Friday, so he need to rectify that. No, it's not going to be outside. It's going to be perfect conditions in Mercedes-Benz Stadium, but he needs to get back on target. It seemed like it was some kind of mechanical error because all the kicks went the same way. So he mentioned it was a alignment issue. So hopefully he rectify that. But we never really had issues from Young Wei Koo, so I'm not going to make it a big deal now. So, but potentially it could definitely be, a big deal if you start to get in your head. So, you know, they haven't brought in any competitions for Young Wei Koo, this week because they missed those 3 kicks. I think there, like I said, there's no concerns there. But, in this next preseason game, Young Wei Koo was to, miss, multiple kicks again. And then he started to think, is he starting to get in his head a little bit. So that's just not what we want, guys. That's definitely not what we want. What's going on, Wallace? What's going on? So once again, guys, easy 53-man roster to put together. And like I said, Atlanta Falcons kind of helped us out a lot, by how many players they sat on Saturday against the Ravens. I think they sat like 37 players. So if you look at that, most of those guys they sat, those guys wasn't injured or anything like that. They just pretty much saw what they need to see from those guys, and they shut them down for the preseason. And then you add in, Matthew Judon and Justin Simmons to that list. you know, 3 specialists. So that's 39. You add 3 more specialists, 42. So really, if you're looking at who played on Saturday, you know, 11 guys out of the rest of those guys that's out there was projected that, they was looking at, right? And we know we had 3 of our rookies out there, and Brandon Dorless, Rukwa Roro, JT Bertrand. We know those guys out there. Chris Blair, another guy that I had out there. Um, Running backs, Carlo Watson, Jace McCullen. Remember I mentioned Avery Williams, another guy. So if you're looking at all those guys, that played against Baltimore, probably like 11 guys out there, which playing for a roster spot for the Atlanta Falcons. So, um, you know, this is usually how well put together teams be. You know, it's not because it's unusual. Falcons the last 3 seasons, had a lot of roster decisions to make, so you didn't know who was going to make it. But um, since this roster is kind of solidified, you start to get down to the back end of the roster, and that's where you start to trying to figure out which one of these guys made a name for themselves to actually, be added to this 53-man roster spot. So, and that's what we're seeing from this team now. EQ says, "Good luck, Falcons. I believe we got a good team, but just need a great start like last year and calm out swinging 100%. Got some good opponents coming up. Um, I think we need to take advantage of the Pittsburgh Steelers offensive woes. We don't want them to figure it out against us, in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Hopefully they continue to struggle, but they got another opportunity to fix it this weekend as well. I expect Russell Wilson and Justin Fields to play again for this third preseason game because they only put up 3 points as an offense, and both of those guys played. I think Russ started off and Justin Fields finished it. They put up 3 points, so that's concerning for them. I know a lot of people looking at Arthur Smith trying to figure out what's going on there, but I hope they woes continue when they play us in September, first game of the season. I think we're going to keep 6 or 7 D line on the roster. I projected 8, so and the 8 I projected was Grady Jarrett, David Namayata, Taquan Graham, Zach Harrison, Kentavious Street, Brendan Dorlish, Rook Roro, and Eddie Goldman. So those my 8. And I can't see you not keeping any of those guys, to be honest with you. And all those 8 guys that I mentioned, only guys that played on Saturday was Brendan Dorlish and Rook Roro. The other 6 did not play on Saturday. So it makes me think that those 6 guys are safe, and I just can't see them releasing Brendan Dorless and Rook Roro. So that's why I'm going 8. So those are the 6 guys that I mentioned didn't even play on Saturday. They all was out, which means they had nothing else to they had to prove, right? I think Atlanta Falcons like what they seen out those 6 guys, and they still want to see the rookies play, Rook and Brendan, and I think those 2 is going to make the roster as well. So that's why I got 8 guys. So if those 8 guys don't make it, it would be interesting because one of those 6 was not, going to be part of the team. Why they didn't put them out there to prove themselves on Saturday? So just deducing what happened from playing and watching what the team is doing. What's up? I'm listening to Smitty for a minute, and the Saints are really really made. Somebody the Saints, yeah, the Saints are mad. They're upset. They're upset. So they're gonna try to come out for blood. All those teams, everybody picking Atlanta Falcons to win the NFC South now. But to be honest, In the NFC South, the Atlanta Falcons has the best roster, right? So um, those division games are going to be tough no matter what. So we'll just have to see. The Falcons on the road to win the first Super Bowl and many more. I love it. I like your enthusiasm, man. Let's hope so. So you can put this thing together in the first year with Kurt. Uh, I hope so, Ken. I hope King upstairs bless the football season. Yes. Let's see what they do, man. These guys got to be healthy, and that's why he didn't want to take no chances. He didn't play anybody else for the rest of the preseason because he wanna these guys to come out swinging. Game one. So that's how it's going to be. I can tell you this: they're hungry. They are hungry, 100%. If you listen to Matthew Judon and Justin Simmons interviews yesterday, um, they can sense the hunger from this team, how bad they want it. We know a guy like Grady Jarrett going into his 10th season really want to get back to the Super Bowl where he had 3 sacks on Tom Brady. Try to get that bad taste off his mouth. Remember, Raheem Morris was there with him. Um, and the only other guy that was there on that team was Shake Matthews. So those 3 guys know what it's like to get to the Super Bowl in this organization. And, they want to taste it again. A guy like Justin Simmons, you know, with, you know, with all his all pros and Pro Bowls and things like that, has never been in the playoffs. So we know for a fact that he's hungry, going to get there. And let's just think about, the IQ that's back in the back, defensive backfield now with both of those guys are ball hawks. They got 50 interceptions between them two combined, you know, in their career. So, they're ball hawks. They're able to go out and attack the ball, being able to disguise coverages and things like that. Definitely can confuse quarterbacks. And that's what we hope to see this year for both of those guys, you know. But then you pair that with, the pressure that Matthew Judon is gonna be able to bring from a defensive standpoint. And, he even mentioned it, because they're going to probably try to double up to try to stop him, which is going to free, singles for other guys, and honestly, I don't know if teams can single cover Grady and David as well. So they're going to have to, make a option and try to figure out what they're going to do. Right. The biggest thing in any defense, especially is being able to stop the run. I think we have the pieces there with a David, with an Eddie Goldman. Um, James Smith Williams is another guy that kind of underrated that sets the edge well. We know Matthew Judon does it. Lorenzo Carter does it. So being able to stop the run is going to be our first main focus because you start the run, then you get out the passer. That's his football 101. Stop the run, going into that first game, we know that what Arthur Smith wants to do, wants to run the ball. So we're going to make Russell Wilson, make Justin Field, whoever the quarterback is, beat us in the air. And then we're going to be able to utilize our, like I said, the high intelligent defensive backfield that we got to be able to try to create turnovers and things like that. So I like this defense. I really like it a lot. Um, and the crazy part about it, I think like last year when I started thinking about the defense, I'm more excited about it than our offense. And we know we have an offense, right? Um, I think Kyle Pitts going to have a breakout year. I think Bijan is going to live up to his just how much of a credible player he is running the ball, and when he gets the ball in his hand. Um, Tyler Algier is just a wrecking ball, man. I love the way they got runs the ball. I think Drake London is going to be a beast like he's supposed to be. And they got Kirk Cousins going to be able to deliver the ball. So um, you gotta like the pieces. I love the aggressiveness from all our defensive backs, not just our starters. I mean, look at what Clark Phillips able to do. Probably should be cornerback too. You know, based off most of the plays he have made this offseason. But They're going with Mike Hughes to start off, but having him, Kevin King, and Antonio Hamilton Sr., backing up those three guys is just awesome. So um, I'm not concerned about defensive backfield. Um, our three starting linebackers that we have between Troy Anderson, Nate Lemon, and Caden Ellis is awesome. You know, just adding in Kay Ellis' ability to blitz the quarterback, along with Matthew Judon, I think it's just going to add a different element to it. It's going to be, I can't wait to see how Jimmy Lake calls this defense. The one thing about the Atlanta Falcons that a lot of people is missing out on is the element of surprise because, the fact that, Raheem Morris decided not to play a lot of people in the preseasons. Um, and Jimmy Lake first time calling defense on a pro level. Nobody has tape on what the Atlanta Falcons scheme really is all about. They kind of idea. They kind of know what Raheem Morris done with the Los Angeles Rams. They kind of know, what Jimmy Lake done back when he was with the University of Washington. But this is different skill set of players. You know, Raheem Morris keep talking about role clarity and what he's going to do with each player. Um, and so it's unknown. We know we definitely don't know, the vision for this team, how this defense is going to be. Um, all we know is the cliche: they're going to be fast and physical, right, and play free. That's all we know. But we get to see it here soon. Um, when they strap it up against Pittsburgh once again. Everybody needs to be there in the stadium on that game because we know the terrible towels will be there. Um, Without a doubt, they travel well. We do not want the Pittsburgh Steelers fan base to take over the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in our home opener. So we need to come in. We need to show out. We need to be loud. We need to be there for our team, and we need to put pressure on that that Pittsburgh offense. Arthur Smith. Arthur Smith. So, um, this game should be personal to everybody. So, Raheem Morris playing is one of his you know mentors, which is in Coach Tomlin. So it's gonna be a really good game. I mean, I can't wait for it. Um, we got to wrap up this preseason game. Um, to, to finish up the last straggler guys, like I mentioned, on that back end. But for the most part, I think the 53-man roster set. We do have some stragglers out there. We'll see. But then they have a week, that week gap because they don't have that 4 preseason game anymore. They only got 3. So it's a week gap there to set the roster right. If they decide to pull guys in for other teams that got cut, we'll see some more roster moves there. Like I said, one thing that still is a question mark maybe is that 6 wide receiver spot because we did not replace the element that we had with a Rondell Moore. We tried to with Jakeem Grant. He actually got hurt as well. So that's still one piece that we don't have that, we could see where they might decide to do something like that. So, but guys, this is going to be exciting. It really is. I know you guys are excited as well. The fan base on fire. The tickets sold out already for the season. So um, this is gonna be what's going on, Uncle Steve. Um, Mike, what's going on with you too? So the sky's the limit, man. Like we don't want to get ahead of ourselves. Grady said it himself, right? You can't put the cart before the horse. Paper, looking on paper, you be like, man, this team has potential to be good. But let's let's put perspective in this team. What I mean by that is this is a new offense coming in. Kirk Cousins, yes, he knows the offense, but it's different, right? Because he got a different play caller coming to a new team. Zach Robinson first time calling plays, right? Could start slow. It could definitely start slow. So let's manage our expectations here, but the potential is there. We do know that. Now they've been lining up in camp all year, all off season, especially in training camp. You look at, you know, what they said Kirk Cousins be doing. Kyle Pitts look 100% good. Drake London, um, Bijan, Tyler, offensive line, all those guys look like you know they're hitting them all go. But we got to see it, guys. We just got to see it. So manage your expectations. It's a long season. We want to come out the box. Those first 5 games is kind of tough. The biggest thing is those last 3, of the 6 that we have, because there's all division games, right? So we got the Aints, the Bucks, and the Panthers back to back to back. So we got to win those 3 if anything goes. But those first 3 games it's going to be tough. We got the Pittsburgh Steelers, who Atlanta Falcons think like 1-6 all time against. So we got to put that in perspective. Then we got Monday Night Football going up to the link, playing the Philadelphia Eagles. Then we come back home on Sunday Night Football and play the Super Bowl champion. So those first 3 games going to be tough for us. So don't get all panic and get out crazy, because after those first 3 games, guys, the schedule kind of ease up for us. Games that we might be favored in a lot of those games. So, but it depends on, we need to show what kind of team we are in those first 3, and that's what I'm talking about. So that's what you guys need to be looking for. Last thing, guys, that I want to do before the season start is my win-loss projections for the Atlanta Falcons this season. I did not do it when the schedule came out. I wanted to get a look at the team this year, get an idea of what I thought about, potential of this team, because I didn't have an idea. But now that the 53-man roster is almost set, be on the lookout for that, because I'm definitely going to come out with my win-loss projection. And of course, I am a Atlanta Falcon fan, so it's probably going to be a little bias on some games, and so bear with me 1 or 2 games, because I might pick wins that I really don't think is a win, but I'm just going to roll with it because it's the Falcons and I'm a Falcon fan, so be ready for that. Jesse Bates and Justin Simmons are going to be a force. The Legion of Boom 2.0. Yeah, man, they got to come up with a name. They definitely got to come up with a name for the secondary. Man, I'm be honest with you. I was already excited about, looking at guys like David and Grady, playing the whole season together. Those 2 guys in the middle is dominant in itself. But then you bring a Matthew Judon in, Zach Harrison. I definitely believe he's going to have that jump from year 1 to year 2. But then you add that back end piece with Simmons and Bates, Terrell back there, and then our linebacker core, which is 3 good inside linebackers. And then you look at their skill sets that they have. You got a guy like Nick Lemon, who's a downhill thumper. That's what he does. Troy Anderson runs sideline to sideline. And then you got Kay Nellis, a guy who can kind of do it all, but had the ability to blitz the quarterback, which I think going to definitely use that element into his game. And then JT Bertrand is a guy that's just a solid inside linebacker. He has the ability to blitz the quarterback. He reads and reacts really well. You go look at his mentors that he guys like Luke Kuechly and things like that. So that inside linebacker core is solid, from a depth standpoint. Like I said, secondary, I really like the way they attack the ball. I think that the scheme that's going to be deployed from our secondary is going to give Jesse Bates and Justin Simmons the ability to read and react on a lot of plays and disguise coverages, because now you got 2 guys that has potential to play either positions, like those 2 guys can. It kind of confuse the quarterback, because where's the strong side, where's the weak side? That's in a lot of times quarterback reads to safeties, right? But it's 2 safeties they got to read now. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting. Let's say name the red alert. Let's get it going, man. Let's get it going. See who that name stick. We don't know. But you know, I think the Broncos had no fly zone. Like you said, the Seahawks had Legion of Boom. Right, we got to come up with a name for the team, but they got to go out and deliver it first. You can't give yourself a name until you start to, to wreak havoc back there. And to be honest with you, you know, the defensive front, that front seven is going to help them maybe wreak havoc, right? Um, it's a couple of ball hawks. Clark Phillips is a ball hawk, man. The guy's a ball hawk. That's why I think he need to be out there. D offer one of the best nickels. You know, that doesn't get mentioned a lot. His ability to play that nickel position, the simulated blitzes that they can potentially start to bring. I mean, we don't know, guys. That's I think that's the most exciting part about this defense. It's unknown. But you see the skill set, you see the abilities of the players that's here, and you just can kind of have the imagination how good this team is going to be. So, um, there you have it, guys. First of all, I definitely want to hear from you guys. Let me know what you think about my 53-man roster projection. You know what? And I want to just call it out one more time so you guys know who I said was going to be on the team. See, did I get an A on it? Um, now, it's not different from a lot of other people that already put out 53-man roster projection. Did not copy, though. Just kind of had the same mindset they had. Eddie says Super Bowl is far for a far stretch. Are you kidding me? Um, I bet you won't put money on it, Eddie. It's like, I mean, every year you come out and say Cowboys going to Super Bowl, and so why can't we say it? So whatever. But like I said, guys, 3 quarterbacks, Cousins, Penix Jr., Heineke, 4 running backs, Robinson, Algier, McCullough, and Williams, right? Six wide receivers, Drake London, Darnell Mooney, Ray McLeod, Cordell Hards, Casey Washington, Chris Blair, 3 tight ends, Kyle Pitts, Charlie Warner, Stwelly, or John Fitzpatrick, either one you want to go with. 8 offensive linemen, Jake Matthews, Matthew Bergeron, Drew Dahlman, Christian Lindstrom, Caleb McGarry, Kyle Hinton, Ryan Newsel, and the 6th one is Storm Norton, right? Eighth one is Storm Norton. 8 defensive linemen, Grady Jarrett, David Amayada, Taquan Graham, Zach Harrison, Eddie Goldman, Luke Roro, Brendan Dorless, and Katavius Street. 4 outside linebackers, Matthew Judon, James Smith Williams, Ahmed Katie, and Lorenzo Carter. 4 inside linebackers, Nate Landman, JT Bertrand, Kate Ellis, Troy Anderson. 6 cornerbacks, AJ Terrell, D. Offer, Mike Hughes, Kevin King, Antonio Hamilton Jr., Clark Phillips III, 4 safeties, J.C. Bates III, Justin Simmons, Richard Grant, DeMarco Helms, and then our 3 specialists, Youngway Koo, Bradley Pinion, and Liam McCullum. 53-man roster, guys. That's what I'm going with. Let me know. We'll see. Did I get 100% on that? That's where we're going with it. The hater Eddie come in. He said I will put the house on the LOL. Let's do it. Just let me know how much you want to put on it. 4 linebackers, 5 outside linebackers, 10 DBs, 3. I bet you $100 that will not be a 53-man roster for the Atlanta Falcons. And if you want to bet, just call me. We'll put it on the line right now. bet you $100 that won't be. They sat 37 guys in the last preseason games, and I guarantee you all 37 of those guys going to make the roster. And then you add the two guys we added just on defense, our 3 specialists, our 4 rookies that was played. So put your money where your mouth at, buddy. Put your money where your mouth at. Bet. 4 defensive linemen. You smoking crack too. They drafted 3 defensive linemen off the bat. Then they got Grady Jarrett, David Omayala, Eddie Goldman. That's Zach Harrison, who they drafted last year. You smoking crack, dude. Stay with the Dallas Cowboys. Stay on, please, man. Just stick to your team. Stick to your team. Don't ever try to think you know more about my team than me. Please, just stick to your team, though. Please call me when we can solidify that bet, because they're going to have way more than 4 defensive linemen. I can promise you that. What edge what edge you talking about? I'm talking about defensive linemen. Said defensive linemen, and I called out 8 of those out. So, and I called out my 4 outside linebackers. So just bet me. Just bet. Call me up. I'm about to get off, so you can call me right after I get off this line, and then we can talk about it. Bet. So, guys, that's all I have. Another Dallas Cowboy fan coming in, wreaking havoc. Yes, they consider outside linebackers. That's why I said 4 outside linebackers. That's why I said 4 outside linebackers. Guys, that's all I have today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Let me know what you think about my 53-man roster projections. I say that I'm probably going to be about 98% accurate on my 53-man roster projections. If not, I get on here and I let you know who I was wrong. But I think I'm going to be probably about 97, 98% accurate on that 53-man roster projection. So, guys, that's all I have. This is your boy Ricondo coming back at you with another video. Peace.